There we go. That's a little bit better. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Badoom. Welcome to the Problem Solver Politics live stream this beautiful Friday evening. We're going to be actually rounding out the week this week. Cody, this has been a great live streaming week, has it not?
It's been a great week.
Yeah. So, you didn't say, hey, everybody. I forgot to say, I'm your host, Carden with Cody the Oracle.
That's fine. I'm going to come up with a new thing, so.
Okay, that's cool.
That's why you got to, I'm trying to quietly let that one go away so I can bring a new thing in.
So, can I tell you what the inspiration for today's title was today, Cody? We'll start out the live
stream. If I said no, would you stop?
No, I would stop. I'll throw it to you.
I'm just kidding.
So, I think a civil war is coming, but it's a different type of war than people anticipate. I don't actually think we'll be armed with scimitars or with triangular-shaped bayonets or with muskets like in ye olde times of old. This is my theory, Cody. I was talking today with a guy who does marketing for Sony and Amazon and all these other places, and I was asking him about what his thoughts were on all the major corporations that are jumping onto the whole BLM Square movement and, Black Lives Matter and, Citibank giving $1 billion, even though they're probably single-handedly responsible for some of the worst predatory lending in, you know what I'm saying? The black community that's keeping poor people from having access to capital to launch entrepreneurial ventures and so on and so forth. And how, to me, that just seems like virtue signaling and at best cynical. I mean, sir, I'm my most cynical self. Crappy marketing. And a lot of that he actually agreed with me on, saying I think a lot of it isn't necessarily agreeing with the movement, but just marketing your company. And I said, this is what I think is going to happen. I think both sides are vilifying each other so badly, and there's enough low information on both sides. This is what I see is going to happen. And I actually referenced you without naming you. I said, I have a friend who is huge on consumer protections, and I think that in the 18th, 19th, and 20th century, we worried about our government versus our citizens. But now we know that our politicians only view us as votes and our corporations only view us as dollar signs, and they can move faster than our government can. So pretty soon, the new civil war, I really think, is going to be major companies finding niches within cultural elements. So in other words, Amazon, let's just say they say we're going to side with the quote unquote liberal side of America, with the coastal elites, where the money is for selling these products. And then Midwestern companies will identify as conservative. And then they will develop algorithms, okay, that can basically intuit and figure out through artificial intelligence what your political affiliation is. And if you voted for Trump, we don't want to sell to you. We don't want to do X, Y, or Z business for you. Or else, the price just got more expensive because you're a bad person and our algorithm told you. And then on the other side, if you're one of those psycho California liberals, you know what I'm saying, then we don't want to sell with you. I literally think that kind of disgust with the other side will become marketable, and that it will become almost like corporate warfare is in the highest echelons of corporate competition. I think the Civil War will bleed into the corporate culture, and it will be a war of who sells what goods to who economically, and then it'll go one step further. If we can get rid of the racial protections that make it so you can't discriminate in skin color in order to hire in California, other states are going to do that. And if you can get rid of racial protections in hiring, why couldn't you get rid of them in housing? Why couldn't you get rid of them in voting? Why, I think you will notice states choose a side. Conservatives will have to flee to conservative states. Liberals won't feel welcome in conservative states and will have to flee to liberal states. And that will be the division. It will be like this slow Cold War in which corporations market to one side, deepening the divide, and then legislation pulls them one way. So we are still indeed the United States of America, but it's like, don't come here, Californians, if you're an Idahoan. And California will say, that's fine. We passed a law that we won't do business with you anyway for X, Y, or Z thing because we view you as hateful, bigoted, racist, homophobic, that whole 9 yards. Does that make sense, Cody? Or is this just conspiracy theory 101?
I don't know why. I don't think that I would ever call that a civil war.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it will be with arms. I think it will be like.
But anyway, I don't understand. I don't understand who the sides are necessarily. It seems like most of these people you think are not on any side. They're on the side of money. They'll flip flop. I mean, I don't see anyone being dug in enough to. I don't know. And again, but let's start with something first before we start talking about what will or won't be a civil war. First of all, I'm going to sandbag the whole thing. Unfortunately, there's not going to be any civil war in America. And then, again, there will be a civil war too. But first of all, what is a civil war? Let's go through. What is it? What does the word mean? It's a war between citizens of the same country. Now, ironically enough, you could describe what's going on currently as a civil war already. If you just want to use definitions,
a civil culture war.
Not even culture war. Civil war is a war between the citizens of the same country, and a war, which I always have definitions that force me. I have to look up what citizens would be, right? But anyway, what is a war? This is interesting, though. A war can also be defined using the U.S. English as a sustained effort to deal with or end a particular unpleasant or undesirable situation or condition.
Wow.
I honestly. Using that definition, you could argue what's been going on with the campaign against Trump over the last 3 years has been a civil war. But anyway, I don't think corporations, because I just think not the free market, but there's just too much money to be made, and eventually they'll go both ways. I think a lot of people are prisoners of the moment. I think internet makes us as social media and the internet continues to become a greater and greater and greater prisoner of the moment. People forget that. We were talking before about this, and I feel the same way. I'm not saying I'm predicting this, right?
Yeah.
But it's entirely within the realm of possibility that we have more Confederate statues up in 5 years than we did now.
You think so?
I don't think so. It's within the realm of possibility, though.
Interesting.
I don't think it'll happen. But my point is, at a certain point, there will be. We were talking before this. Do you think there's more murals and statues depicting Jesus now, or during the first, second, third, fourth, or fifth time a government decided to smash every single Jesus monument? I mean, how many times? Now, I'm not saying Confederate soldiers are Jesus. Please, don't hear me that.
No, but you're saying that by attacking a valued cultural relic, you only increase its significance.
Well, and I don't know if increased significance is the right word. Maybe Jesus was the wrong comparison there again. But suddenly, they will go back up as a sign of something else. They will not go up as a sign to the Confederacy. Well, they'll go back up as a sign of not tearing down our history or X, Y, and Z. I don't know. I'm just saying that when you tear something down, there's a pretty good chance people decide that not only should they put it back up, they should put more of them up to prove you wrong for tearing them down in the first place. Do I think it will happen? I don't know. Entirely possible. But the larger thing, though, as far as what we've seen people talking about civil wars, but I still think a civil war is really, really a goofy idea for America. I don't think we'll have a civil war. I think what would be if anything would happen, it'd be more akin to a revolution than a civil war.
Would you
Even
think
a
will it be
revolution
with
will happen,
arms? See, I really don't think it ultimately will be. Maybe isolated hotspots in which I think a lot of it will be with rioting and counter-rioting. Like, I really think it will be kind of like asymmetrical warfare, where it's rioting and counter-rioting, and then counter-protesters having violence against protesters. I don't think...
For what? For what? What do they get? For what? I mean, how did the American Civil War start? If I remember correctly, the American Civil War, which, by the way, isn't civil wars in general. It's the American Civil War.
I'll tell you why.
No, do you remember when it started? Not why. When? When did people say, you know what? We have to use arms. What was the specific moment, right? It was when, I believe, the Confederates stormed a Union military base and claimed it for themselves. I believe that's when it happened. Do you want the storming of the Chaz? Here's the other thing to keep in mind. The Confederacy had a president. It was a government. Like, they had an army.
That's why I'm saying. That's why I said I think it'll be protesters and counter protesters, because here's the deal. I don't think Governor Domingo Rodriguez. Oh, hit the super chat first.
All right, $2 super chat from Jeremy said, "Rolling my blunt, getting ready to enjoy the show." Hey, it is a Friday, man.
It is a Friday, man. We got a lot of blunt rolling going on in our. Yesterday there was a super chat saying "bong rips for Jesus." I think not bong rips for Jesus, but
that's the Supreme Court. That was the Supreme Court decision.
That was the Supreme Court decision. But now somebody's rolling a blunt. Like, glad we could enjoy the moment with you guys. Anyway, this is why I say I think it'll be protesters and then counter protesters, is because I don't think there's going to be an individual. I don't think Governor Jorge de la Vega of Arizona is going to rise up and say, that's it. We secede. I am the president of this revolution. I declare myself as treasonous, and I know this is my civil disobedience. Now follow me. And he's going to have a rally cry. I don't think they're going to make a new flag, and I don't think a geographical state is going to be birthed. What I think it will be is that in states that are mixed, that are purple, or even just like in blue states, okay, where widespread violence goes unchecked. What did the Koreans do? They were defending their stores during the LA riots. They said, look, if the state won't defend us, we defend ourselves because our family depends on this livelihood.
Was the LA riot what you would akin to your Civil War? Would it look like the LA riots?
No, I think there will be lots of hot spots that get just as bad as the LA riots because people will turn to their most base instincts.
I hear that. People keep saying that. The rioting, the fires, the looting. To what end, though? If it's to no end, it's not a civil war. It's just fire. It's just looting and violence. I mean, to what end? Again, if we're going to use I'm not saying about word definitions, but like this is a great way of putting it. What is the end of the particular unpleasant or undesirable situation? I don't understand what. It just feels like people will keep fighting each other forever, but to what end?
Well, think about it. You asked that about the Israelis and the Palestinians. I mean, we're 1,000 years, 2,000 years detached from when they claim that. Okay, but those two brothers,
the Israelis, I believe, would contend
Abraham and Ishmael, or whoever it was.
I believe from the two perspectives, though, they would both contend the conflict ends when the other one stops inhabiting their land. I believe.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though.
They have
and the corporations would do that.
They have an ends they're contending.
The corporations would do that.
What's the ends of Apple? To what ends is Apple discriminating for?
No, okay, I'll tell you this much right now. The end will be when California, all the liberal elites that run it, and all of the limousine liberals that want to live here with the feudal underclass that they want serving them, that they can just throw welfare at cheaper than trying to sustain a middle class. When they finally get that utopia that they want, they stop. And they do that by saying, okay, look, if you're conservative, we don't want you in California. You need to move out. Because what's Idaho doing? Idaho right now is saying they're running candidates whose policy proposals are like limiting immigration from California.
No, but hold on. That's not, but that's not answering my question. I want to get to your chat as well.
Okay.
But my question is this, dude. To what stated goal would the corporations be doing this until we've ran off every undesirable and we've created a Ponzi scheme that operates like Dave and Buster's where they distribute free tokens to people and they give us our free tokens back?
I'll tell you, look,
that doesn't make any sense.
What do you mean it doesn't make sense? Okay.
It makes no sense to me.
I'll explain to you how it makes sense.
I want to run off everyone who can afford my products. That sounds great. My melanated scope, $5 super chat, said, hi guys, went to the ER last night for sciatica. They gave me Valium for the pain. I'll stick to the edibles though. Happy Friday. I'm really sorry to hear that, man. But yeah, honestly, probably a good choose going off that Valium. A little aside, Carden asked me, and I'm not into politics of this, but Carden asked the other day, he was like, whatever happened to Jordan Peterson? I haven't heard from him for a few years. Well, what happened to him is he got addicted to benzos and almost died, and I think is in Russia doing experimental detox therapy or something. So yes,
yeah,
I definitely think whenever people avoid benzos, good choice.
So here's how. Okay. I think it's the ChickfilA model. What happened to ChickfilA when they got under attack from the left? There's been 3 times I can think of in the past 10 years where ChickfilA has been under serious attack from the left.
That's not answer my question.
And what happens is the line goes out the door and around the block, and all the Christian mommies in their Facebook groups say, we got to save Chick-fil-A. They're under attack for defending our values. And the next thing you know, Chick-fil-A is going gangbusters because the whole Christian community thinks that the last institution on earth does what?
That's crap.
Excuse me.
Chick-fil-A is also literally the most popular fast food restaurant in the country. It's not like Chick-fil-A is this.
Oh, it can't be the most popular.
It is. Look it up. What's the most popular fast food restaurant in America in 2020?
Really?
It's Chick-fil-A. Everyone loves it.
No.
Yes, that's why I think exactly when you're a mark for the media and believe everything these dumb people lie to you about. Chick-fil-A.
Well, you can't tell me Chick-fil-A
is under attack. Chick-fil-A is under attack. Need my help. Chick-fil-A. Poor Chick-fil-A. Like, what are you talking about?
But based on what? You can't tell me that Chick-fil-A makes more revenue than McDonald's. That they
Based
got more
on what?
playgrounds. That
Because they're not global. They have less locations than McDonald's. I can tell you one thing.
So how do you say popular?
They literally poll people. What's the most popular fast food restaurant in America? And Chick-fil-A won. I think it recently surpassed
But is that like an internal poll that Chick-fil-A does in order to brag?
No, Chick-fil-A doesn't do it. It's literally, it was just like news recently that Chick-fil-A recently went to number one. It's like In-N-Out's one of the most popular. They don't have In-N-Out in every single state, but it's one of the most popular. It's hilarious to me.
Okay, well, according to Business Insider, it says McDonald's unsurprisingly takes the prize for that says biggest fast food chain.
Exactly. They ask people what like their favorite or most
I'm looking
popular
up popular, and McDonald's keeps coming up.
I'll pull it up. So.
And then
Maybe favorite was the word. Sorry, maybe favorite. Okay.
Okay, well, either way, at the end of the day.
My other point is this.
Okay.
Chick-fil-A does just fine with business. You know, in Chick-fil-A's lines, do you know when the Chick-fil-A drive-thru line is so long you can't get in? Did you know in our city they were going to build another Chick-fil-A and the parking lot literally couldn't accommodate like a 30-person line, so they couldn't build the Chick-fil-A there?
Yeah, I remember that.
That's every day. Every day but Sunday, there's a line out the door in Chick-fil-A, okay? Like, it's not because they're rallying to defend the poor chicken sandwich store. It's every day when they open a new Chick-fil-A, line, like, around the block. Not because Christian values. It's because, like, people like Chick-fil-A. It's really good.
Yeah, so either way, at the end of the day, when they come under attack for something that's remotely close to defending religious values, such as not working on Sunday or whatever, they get patronized triple what they were before. And it ends up being awesome press. And I think these corporations are going to see value in that. Some corporations are going to see values with...
Okay, but again, Chick-fil-A is, they're literally America's favorite fast food chain. This is I believe, an independent study done by Market Force. It has nothing to do with the culture war. They're just, like, legitimately...
How is Hooters not America's favorite? No, I'm just kidding. Actually, I was reading this article that they're like the most declined.
I've never stepped foot in a Hooters. I don't know why it would be the most popular fast food chain.
I did once when I was a freshman in college.
You would. But look at this. Look at this. The Chicken QSR Composite Loyalty Index. They're ahead of Raising Cane's and Zaxby's, and then I guess I guess the chicken franchise, and then you have Popeye. It's not fried. It's all fried chickens. Maybe not Zaxby's.
Oh, and Church's Chicken. That's like big in the South, right?
We have churches out here as well. Yeah, I like Raising. We have Raising Cane's out here. I like Raising Cane's, but yeah,
I never heard.
Look
of
at this.
Cane's.
So as far as chicken restaurants go, at least maybe, but I believe it is. This is a very, very long thing. Yeah, but Chick-fil-A, again, I'll post the link for anyone who doesn't believe me. But
but in the same way that you've seen a massive corporate jumping on the bandwagon of Black Lives Matter, you don't think there would be a massive corporate jumping on the bandwagon of whatever the conservative counterpart to that would be, and that would only fuel more division. And I don't know. I see it happening that way. I don't see it as a hot war. I see it as a cold war that has hot spots.
But it does not make any sense for business. Some businesses will discriminate, and it's counterproductive. But guess what, dude? Some businesses are ran really poorly for a while, and they almost go bankrupt, and they change how they run. Like, there's notion that businesses no. I guarantee you businesses will do things that offend your sensibilities, and you'll be like, man, business shouldn't think that way. But, like, for the most part, dude, they're going to take your money. They really are.
Okay.
Now, I do agree. There is a weird group of people that, well, for example, I don't know if these reasons are 100% related, but one thing that cracks me up was, who was it? I believe it was Sargon of Akkad went to a website called, Subscribestar I had never heard of, and like immediately Subscribestar had Stripe pull their payment process. Like, yeah, there's some individuals that are just on like the removed from polite society list, I guess, and that probably should be gone about differently, I guess, to say the least, right? But dude, Chick-fil-A's your example of it. I just don't see it. It's like they're delicious food and everyone loves them. There's a lot of people who aren't part of your dumb culture war, and they just go eat Chick-fil-A.
That's funny. Sly Cactus says, you guys are making me way too hungry right now. What do you need, Sly Cactus? You only drink water. I can't do dad jokes like Sly Cactus. And then also, I was going to say, Nathan Butcher says, if your state has abortion billboards, you probably have a Chick-fil-A nearby. That's I think what he's talking about is anti-abortion billboards, which if you ever drive through the Midwest and you start hitting some of those suburbs, you know exactly what we're both talking about. That was actually really funny. And a lot of people here are saying Raising Cain and asking, wait, how are we getting on the subject of chicken? Let me tell you, anything's possible in the PSP bunker. All right, no subject is off.
Hold on, let's get to how do we get subject theory? So you got this point. Carden's theory was that, like the way that people will come out to defend Chick-fil-A when they're under attack for their conservative beliefs, clearly that shows how the corporations will continue to pander this way. And then my point was, Chick-fil-A is just the most popular chicken restaurant. I get there's some part of their absolutely massive fandom that encompasses almost everybody is people that defend them because they're Christian and good for them. That's a part of it, but I would say by and large, generally, they're popular because people like the chicken. Because guess what? If you've ever been to Chick-fil-A, their menu is literally the chicken sandwich, the chicken nuggets, the chicken salad. That's it. That's all they have. It's like In-N-Out. It's like people. I wonder. I've always had In-N-Out nearby, and I didn't have Chick-fil-A hyped up. I wonder if anyone ever had like In-N-Out hyped up to them when they went there thinking it was like other fast food places. Like, oh, I wonder what they have. And it's like, we have a cheeseburger and fries. Like, oh, anything else? No. Oh, okay. But yeah, so that's how we got there. Because my only contention was, and then we have a super chat, but my only contention was that, yes, the most popular things, like Apple, for example, can take us. It's Apple. The line will be outthrown by iPhones every single time. But here we go. Shane Olmstead, $5 super chat. He said, if you can afford to bend your knee, you have the majority following. Which, yeah, if you just do what the public says they should do, you'll make money.
Okay. Well, I have to say, personally, that I think more of this is coming. And I think algorithms with the required link to your Facebook or your Instagram profile are going to start profiling customers and then showing a specific bias that not only makes them more money, but seeds more division in our society.
This is literally like the underpants gnomes.
How
does it make them more money? There's a big question
when there's
mark.
blood in the streets, buy land.
That doesn't make any sense. You're not buying land if you're selling tacos from Del Taco. I don't understand. You just keep I don't understand.
Well, first off, we all know Del Taco would go conservative, okay? No.
But like it literally is like the underpants gnome thing. It's like discriminate against customers.
Okay.
Profit. Where is the middle there? You're skipping like a big part of this.
I think they would see a value in profiteering off a culture war that has gone hot in some places. I think so. It's amazed me the ways they found to make money in the past.
You could just say culture war making money. How? Through what? Do you know what makes Chick-fil-A a lot of money? They have very good chicken sandwiches. You know what made Popeyes a lot of money recently? They rolled out a very good chicken sandwich. Like, what's the how?
Here's a perfect example, okay? Is that right now you got Smile on Amazon where if you want to, you can donate to charity and so on and so forth, right? I think it's very marketable if Amazon were to say to all the wealthy elites in the coast of California, like, oh, look, dude, we're using a lot of our money to fight, those evil Midwestern racist, homophobic, bigoted, everything else bad that they are, and if you really want to join that fight and be part of this, you should be buying from us. You know what I'm saying? And then any way that the mafia can approach a shopkeeper and tell them that they need to get paid money for quote protection.
Oh, wait, that's ridiculous. And you have to, I do not know how just saying, you know what, a bunch of people can't buy our product, so we're better, makes you more money than just selling your product. Amazon, here's the other thing, dude, if they want to get into discrimination, no offense, but they're smarter than that. They'll keep selling you some things. They'll sell you stuff weird. They'll algorithmically hide the low price items from you. They can do other things to gimmick you for more money. Openly discriminating against people just to pander to the media. Like I said, man, if you're a mark for all this baloney that they keep shoving in our faces of the culture war, blah, 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 I guess. If you really believe that we're gonna have a civil war, I guess it would make sense to discriminate against your own customers. Just because maybe then people will buy from us. That never happens. It doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
Who wins every election? The same person who's won the last 7 or 8 elections. Didn't vote. Undefeated is didn't vote. So maybe didn't vote is also who buys the chicken sandwiches. Maybe didn't vote's also who buys the iPhones. Maybe didn't vote is also who most consumers are. So maybe you should pander to the didn't vote crowd.
Yeah.
That's most people. Maybe you should pander to them. They probably buy your product.
Okay. So a lot of people here are commenting in the chat here. Nate Dogg says, you're losing me, Carden. Look, I'm just playing 5D chess here. All right. I'm just ahead of the bell curve. You can't see it in the horizon. And then Sonerd says, I definitely get what you're saying. Fund companies play both parties. I don't know. I think civil that is aided by AI identifying the affiliation of a party and charging more to that person or less to that person in order to attract their business, I think will be. I think heavy marketing
I have a larger question
will be a big part of it.
I have a larger question for this. You also mentioned the fact that they want to kick people out of these states so they can only have people out on welfare in the states. I don't understand how a system. Nobody's smart enough to run a company as big as Amazon would create a system where the government prints funny money and then gives it to people to spend at the Amazon store so they can give their profits to the government so they can print more funny money. That sounds absurd.
Well, how about this?
Every business needs people who don't care about politics, who work, make money, and pay taxes. That's who you need to sustain anything. A country, a city, a business, a goddamn baseball team. You need people who don't pay attention to the nonsense and they just go to work, pay their taxes, and pay.
Okay, well, what if they did this? Like Adam Duffy brings up a good point. Says a civil war would take the Apple versus Samsung fight to a whole new level. So what if, for example, Apple said, you know what, we're only going to allow apps and transactions through Apple Pay and communications through iChat and everything from one Apple phone to another, and we won't allow any of these communications or any of those payments or any of those apps to be made if you're on the Human Rights Campaign bad list or the SPLCC bad list, the Southern Poverty Law Center bad list or whatever. And we all know that those lists that get made are absolute garbage.
But again, for what reason? To what end? To what? How does it help them?
Oh, for the same reason that they market with BLM this big on the header of Amazon.
Okay, but what
as
is that,
massive virtue signal?
What does that cost to them? Very little. It doesn't cost them alienating and discriminating its customers 1,000% overtly. You could say they are promoting a message their customers might not believe with, and that might turn them away. Okay, but even then, they'll live with that, but they won't deny you service, okay?
Well,
they'll make you see something you might not agree with, but they won't deny you service. You just buy from them after.
Okay, but let's just say Apple does that.
Another super chat as well.
Yeah, Apple does that. Then Samsung sees, whoa, Apple just made that move. Why don't we actually market to the conservatives?
Where is Samsung from?
They're from Korea, but they got offices in our hometown.
Well, yeah, but they're exactly. So the Koreans are part of the. Is it a global war? Is it World War America Corporation? See, the other thing, not every corporation is based in America. As a matter of fact, very few are.
Yeah, but
what about all the corporations hiding in Ireland? What do they have to do with this, huh?
Yeah. Okay, we got another super chat here. Silverfang says, is BLM Marxist? Black supremacy versus white supremacy. It really just depends on who you talk to.
I feel like none of the above. I feel like
BLM's a Rorschach test. Some people go into it thinking like, oh, this is the awesome, most benevolent extension of everything Martin Luther King ever fought for in the 60s, living free living proud in 2020. And then other people think this is the epitome of intersectional thought meeting practical daily life, and that's crazy. So it's BLM is literally a Rorschach test right now.
I think BLM has got. It's like I guess this will be a little side way of putting it. Recently, LeBron James tried to trademark the term Taco Tuesday.
Oh, really?
He was rightfully, I believe, laughed out of the courtroom. You can't trademark Taco Tuesday. Why? Because you're allowed to use Taco Tuesday. What does it mean? What is Taco Tuesday? What is the definition of Taco Tuesday? Well, people use it to mean different things. That's a kind of maybe flippant example. But my larger point is that, it definitely appears that, Black Lives Matter has gone away and came back in different waves for different events to mean different specific things, different times, to different people. I don't know. I think it's a little catchphrase or a banner that works. People will rally behind, but it means whatever you want it to mean at the time for the most part.
Okay.
And the CIA is 100% behind it.
No, you think the CIA is behind BLM?
If they weren't originally, they are now, yeah.
Oh, dude. So what makes you think that? Because you're the second person I've heard say that today.
Because why wouldn't it? The CIA's job is to control things like this. I don't see why they wouldn't be doing it. The CIA is people nobody elects and nobody knows about. That gets paid large sums of money just to infiltrate and discredit. Maybe the FBI would be doing it. Maybe I'm being too flippant here. Maybe the FBI, but still, yes, the government will infiltrate this stuff because it's not that hard. The government hires people and trains them to do nothing but infiltrate organizations like this, and a bunch of just people rallying together. No, a lot of times, sometimes they snuff them out, I guess, but a lot of the times they become like the leaders of the stuff. Yeah. They get the people in charge. I mean, I don't know. On this conspiracy, I think it's been proven time and time again that they'll have them as listed as confidential informants or whatever. You know what I mean? They'll have people on their payroll feeding them info. They'll be feeding stuff to them. I'll say one thing. One thing Black Lives Matter is something that the government as a whole thinks is what's the best term for it? It's something that, like, a lot of people call them protests. I don't see how they're protests because by and large the government is basically agreeing that they should exist and kind of encouraging you to go. I don't know what the word for it is though.
Repeat that.
Well, they're not. You can't protest against the government when they're like, yes, please, come on out. I agree with you 1,000%. It's not a protest, man. You're rallying on behalf of it's a rally for the government. If they're telling you they agree and we should do that, then you're not protesting anything. You're just showing up to support the government. It's really weird. Anyway, we have a $2 super chat from Any Melanated Scope. He said, AIM plus BLM. Love seeing AIM flags.
Wait,
flags
AIM
fly.
like AIM messenger?
No, I doubt it means AIM messenger.
What's AIM?
Have to be honest, don't know off the top of my head. But I don't know most things, so.
Okay. Well, we all know what BLM means. What's AIM? I feel like I'm stupid right now. It's probably something super obvious, and I'm just not knowing what the acronym is right now. All immediate men. No. Aloysius impromptu macabre. Actually, I don't know. My Melanated Scope, first off, thank you for the super chat. Let us know what AIM is. I feel really, really stupid right now not knowing this is. Yeah, actually, I'm going to do that right now. What is AIM? AIM. Oh, I'm going to the first thing is AOL Instant Messenger, and the second one is the Urban Dictionary. I don't know. I don't know if I want to venture into the
I'll go into that.
Urban
I'll go
Dictionary.
through a couple other things, but oh, the American Indian movement. Very interesting.
Oh,
yeah,
rock
that's very
on.
interesting.
What's that? Here, we got to look into that, man.
Yeah. I don't know. It sounds very vague. What could the American Indian movement possibly be about?
Well, is it is an awesome actual movement for American Indians, which I really think is a necessary and could be a beautiful thing, or is it just another intersectional Trojan horse?
I guarantee you'll have a moan about it. I can guarantee you, top of my head already, you're gonna be moaning about it. Oh my god!
Oh, no, look at no, this is legit. It dates back to the 1960s. Look, it says the American Indian movement is a Native American grassroots movement that was founded in 1968 in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Very
cool. Hey, Minneapolis. I guess that's probably one of the reasons why. Yeah, Minneapolis, which has been where
I want to interview somebody from AIM, dude.
Ah, very cool. You always say you this way. You say you want to interview everybody, and they'll try to set up an interview, and you'll be like, I don't know, I can't make it.
Stop it! I'm not that bad. No, I'm pretty good at that. But yeah, this is cool. By the way, their sign is really awesome. It's you can't even make signs like this now. They'd call it something racist or insensitive.
Well, then how about this idea?
But it's the peace sign.
Okay.
Being the feathers in a traditional crown with, I don't know what the colors are, but that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, but I guess first thing is super chat. $2 from Trev 30. He said, "Where'd you get your shirt?" For talking to me, H&M. It's actually on sale, not a good price.
No, he's actually talking to me. It's Spectre scuba diving.
Yeah, I think it says
dive
on the shirt.
ship right there.
And then someone brought up an interesting point. They said if the government really agrees with BLM, they would be working harder to provide for lower income areas. That's Mr. Mojo Risen Foe, I believe. Interesting point. I would contest that the government would be doing exactly what they would be doing if they have to support Black Lives Matter, because here's the thing, man. If anyone ever has any level of influence or leverage over you based on the fact that they're providing you something, they don't want you to not need them anymore. Just back to life. Happens all the time. Happens with parents when their kids leave the house. It happens with businesses when they're like, shoot, this guy or girl can just hit the open market and probably draw pretty good money. I have to give him a raise to keep him. Happens with everything. So no, they don't. If anyone in government's entire position of power was them getting in government saying, I will provide you free stuff because you possibly could not provide otherwise, which is why it's the reason why I like UBI. It's not because without this you cannot provide. It's more of an idea of like it help lift everybody up. But no, if it's like if they're writing every single check that you have, they don't want you to not need them anymore. Then their job goes away. Seriously, imagine banging on the table for Medicare for all if most people had moved. Okay, about this. The reason why Medicare for all is the end goal. Imagine if there was an expanded public program. You know what? No one wants an expanded public program because the people that are actually pushing for expanding Medicare for all, having Medicare for all, they realize is what happens if their voters in their district actually have their lives improved and they move to private insurance for whatever reason, and they don't compete, and then they don't vote for them anymore because they don't need the thing they were providing.
Okay.
If the government supported Black Lives Matter, the reason why they would not fix the inner cities is because then Black Lives Matter goes away. Then there is no Black Lives Matter. Why, if the government really
if that were indeed Black Lives Matter's clearly stated goal.
But not even that. If the government wants an organization to stay around, that's a better way of putting it. I guess, you know what? That was actually a good comment because that's a better way of phrasing it. You led me to.
Okay.
They maybe don't agree with Black Lives Matter, but they want them to stay around for sure. And yeah, the way to keep them around is to make sure things don't get better. If things get better, they go away. Why would they want that? They're telling you to come out and protest. They're saying, please, by all means, violate my own governmental order to come out and protest. I mean, why would they say that if they didn't want these things to continue? But I guess that's a really good point you brought up there, right? Like, yeah, they don't agree. They just want this thing to continue. They want them to keep going out in the streets and protesting. Yeah. Because if they wanted to help, they would help. But they don't want to help. They want them out in the streets protesting. So you can't help or else they'll go back in the house.
Yeah, but also the protests benefit both political parties if they're honest with themselves. The crappiest aspect of the Republican Party is taking draconian police state measures in the name of national security. I mean, my country
was bipartisan.
Yeah, my country is not the same country it was when I was a kid. You used to be able to do stuff. You used to be able to have fun. You used to be able to go to train stations. You used to be like I got so tired when I was in college of not being able to do all the fun things I wanted to do on summer vacation and having the same the same park ranger that I'd seen at Lake Tahoe every year before we would climb down to some creek and be like, sorry, they changed rules, guys. You can't go jumping into the water. It's part of the Patriot Act. Wait, how is us jumping off the rocks into the same lake our family's gone to for 50 years? How is that part of the Patriot Act? Well, they outlawed this. You used to be able to drive in the back of trucks. You used to be able to, like, there's a million and one things you used to be able to do and have fun in this country, all right, that you can't do anymore. And unfortunately, Republicans, who are supposedly limited government people, are always on board for re-signing FISA, for re-signing spying on American citizens, for re-granting billions of dollars to the NSA, for data mining and having the single largest data mining center and information center at NSA headquarters. So they're always willing to trample on our civil liberties in the name of national security. And then Democrats are always willing to do it in the name of public safety, okay? So these riots are serving both parties because all of the Republicans that don't feel like they have enough control over your lives and enough power in terms of national security can say, they can, well, but you see, each brand has its own evil that it's trough it keeps going to.
We could pull our hair out listing every specific individual brand, just recognize it's all the same thing. They have different brands. It's all the same thing. They want to control your life in some way. The people who want financial control over your life, though, be wary of them because, like I said, suddenly you improving yourself financially could threaten their relationship with them. And it's always bad when you're in a relationship with someone where improving yourself threatens that relationship to them. Because honestly, if that's the relationship you're in, reevaluate it. Something's wrong here. If you improving yourself is a great threat, unless it's something like I said, work, for example, you just do so good at your job, you realize, hey, I can just hit the open market and get whatever I want almost. And that's a good thing. But it's you think of that with, like politics. Like if your politicians banged the table and said, vote for me, I will pull you up. No, they won't. If they pull you up, then you won't vote for them. You vote for someone else next time. Yeah, so they did their job.
This is why they are not at all philosophically, financially, or politically motivated to stop these riots. And that's why I think the Civil War is coming, because the Republicans that want to be able to benefit off more police state are going to be like, oh boy, man, we really need to build a National Guard base close to every urban center because these riots, they're crazy. Look, small business owners, they're going to burn that cheese down. And the police don't do anything, so we need to call in the National Guard. In fact, I think we need to pass the National Guard can be called in anytime we want act. Then it's going to supersede the Insurrection Act. And now the federal government, just whenever it wants, the president now unilaterally, even without, asking permission from the governors, is going to be able to call in the National Guard. And the new police that exists above the FBI will not even be law enforcement, but will be straight up military in violation of Posse Comitatus. I could literally see Republicans saying yes to that.
No, they won't. If they're not morons, they won't. You wanna know why?
Why?
Actually, the Democrats did just do this. Do you know why Democrats are so And by Democrats, I mean the actual elected officials. And by Democrats, I'm even more specific. Obama administration types. Do you know why they were so livid that Trump won? You know why they had an entire campaign to tear them up, make sure that you literally cannot sleep at. Like, there's journalists whose job is to make sure you are in terror all day and you can't sleep because you hate Trump so much. It's because the Obama administration really expanded executive powers.
Oh, yeah.
They set a lot of precedents with executive orders, and they kind of made the executive branch more powerful than it should be. I'm assuming under the understanding that immediately they would not be ceding this now super branch to their ideological opponents, the Republicans. I would be dumbfounded if the Republicans fall into the same trap and they create an even more of a super enforcement from the executive branch and risk losing and turning that over to their ideological opponents. I mean, no offense, but like, people do they hate Donald Trump to a point that's not reasonable. The reason why is because you have to, because people realized, holy shit, if we let Donald Trump, not even Donald Trump, if we let a president sit in that office and not have constant media fires on his feet, you could do some shit in that executive branch now you couldn't do before. And they can't let that happen.
Yeah.
And again, it's not an ideological thing as far as like who's the right plan on healthcare. It's just the idea of like, our team wanted to get ahead. Or one team, not our team. One team wanted to get ahead, so they bent the rules a bit, but then they realized that opens the door to their opponents now bending the same rules, so suddenly they have to become the rules police. Because if they aren't, they know, damn, we didn't have a rules police, we got away with everything. There's got to be a rules police.
So Sly Cactus, thank you very much for the super chat. Keep those super chats coming, guys. I actually have to go pick up my wife after this live stream today, so we're going to be ending on time. So make sure you get all your super chats out of your system right now early, so we can just dive in deep and sink our teeth into your questions and your topics de conversación, of conversation. Sly Cactus says, I'm ahead to Chick-fil-A right now. I'll be back soon. Also a reminder about call-ins tonight. Yes, Cody, we're doing the call-ins tonight, man. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you got to just
tell you what, you got
put up that Discord server,
hold
baby.
on.
Yeah, what do I got to do?
We'll do it, but I need you to be in Discord picking people for me.
Okay, how do I do that, bro? I'm Carden the Boomer came.
Carden the Boomer came. Go into Discord and you just message people and let me know who they are, and then we'll take care of it. All right?
Okay, cool, sweet. So I'm pulling up Discord right now.
Cool. Now while you're doing that,
hey, have you posted this Discord server in the chat so people can jump in real fast?
Yeah, I'll do it right now.
All right, rock on. And I go to the Problem Solver Politics chat, correct?
Yeah, but this is general chat.
All right, awesome, sweet. To the bottom. Okay, last time we did I'm Joe Hoven. We got to talk to Sly Cactus too. So how do I pick him? Do I just click on it?
So me, man, how do you pick him? Find out. Anyways, in the meantime.
Okay.
In the meantime, I want to talk about something real quick. So while you're figuring that, I want to talk about something. Some news. I know news sucks, but some news.
Okay.
It appears that, things went bad for Amy McGrath. It looks like she's probably going to lose. It's not over yet, but it looks like she's down a couple thousand votes. And not only is she down a couple thousand votes, it's been a swing of like 18,000 votes the wrong direction. It's been really bad, which is, I mean, you could also call it like a 30% swing. But anyway, $5 super chat from Nathan Butcher. He says, you mean like Dems wanting to remove the Electoral College because they keep losing? It's one of the funny things. Yeah, it's like they say they want to remove, but here's the thing. It's like, then what happens when the Republicans just start doing popular vote stuff too? And then it's like, well, crap, our advantage is gone. Like, it's this very short-sighted line of thinking.
So short-sighted.
That it's like when you're in a fight with someone, and if you try to like all of a sudden throw a low blow at them, it's like, I hope you're ready for one in return. Like, what the hell are you doing? Like there was some tacit agreement that they weren't going to do that off the rip. Gone now. Same thing. It's like there's nothing more. There's a certain type of person, certain type of arrogant individual. It drives me crazy. It's like when they lie to you and you know they're lying, but it's about something that's kind of inconsequential, and you just kind of like not even let it slide. You're like, whatever, man, don't care. And they're like, you got him. I pulled one over. I'm this. It's like, dude, what the hell? I knew you were lying. I just didn't care. It wasn't about something that interested me. And I think you see that kind of same that same like snide arrogance, right?
Yeah.
Where they're like, yeah, we changed the rules. Ha, we pull one over on you. We changed them just to benefit us. Like, no shit. Of course you did. We're just gonna plan to deal with it instead of whine about it. It's just an interesting thing.
And bro, my first, before you were a co-host, even before my radio show, when I was just doing Problem Solver Politics by myself in my garage in my old house, my fourth podcast was why it would be absolutely devastating to the Democrats if they got rid of the Electoral College. Because let me tell you, in all the blue states, like in California, 40% of our population is still Republican here. And they basically just don't show up to vote because they know it doesn't matter. If all of a sudden they thought their vote mattered towards getting Donald Trump elected, because we're a winner-take-all electoral state, so it doesn't matter because we know that we're going to get diluted by all of the Democrats. So your average middle-of-the-road Republican does not even show up for elections. If all of a sudden they thought, wow, I actually could put this guy one vote closer to being over on Hillary Clinton or on Joe Biden or whatever, in droves, there would be more blue state Republicans showing out than red state Democrats, and it would just be a tidal wave they would never recover from for 100 years.
Maybe. Or, I mean, what, isn't 89% of people in Texas Republican and like 60? And then could you not argue like, well, 40% of Texas, 40% of Florida?
I would say there are more blue state Republicans than there are red state Democrats, and that's why it would be.
I actually disagree now. Maybe at one point, but not anymore.
Okay, well, anyway, I believe
there's major blue metropolitan centers in Texas and Florida, and if you want to talk about red states like Wyoming, maybe, but an additional. I mean, no one lives in Wyoming, you know.
Okay, so all I got to do is click on and then make it stream color.
Actually,
right?
only rich white people live in in Wyoming.
Okay, well, that's what I did, I think.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think we got somebody here. Have we talked to Sly Cactus before?
Don't believe so.
Okay, cool. Let's try it. I think he's in there. Is he in there? Did it work?
It doesn't. That's not all. So I think they have to then join the general. Oh, hold on. I have to make a new. Join the radio channel.
Okay, so join the radio channel, guys,
if you're messaging
on Discord.
So I was trying to go over this earlier with you, but full disclosure, we got distracted for like.
We were watching Godzilla.
Yeah, for like 20, 30 minutes watching Godzilla versus Mothra.
We have a movie channel where we watch. It's actually really cool, guys.
We're working
on a movie channel.
Before we plug that,
okay.
take care of this, please. But yeah, that's why we got started late, and some of the stuff wasn't ready, and I forgot what we were going to talk about.
Okay, sweet. So, so you want me to go into the general, Cody, or do you want me to go into the radio?
Message them and tell them to join the general, and I'll see when they do that.
Okay, cool. So
it's John P., who you were talking with.
I don't know, but we might as well talk to him if he's in there. Let's try it. We're in a brave new world here, Cody.
Okay, what time do we have to end at? Because Jesus,
it's 7:00. We only got like, what's it called? Like 20 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man. Well, I'll see if they're not. If it's whoever it is has to be in the. I can't move them to the stream call chat. Please just message the person, tell them to join the radio chat, and I'll move them.
Okay, well, I think they can hear us.
Okay, but you're messaging them, correct?
Dude, I'm the Boomer King. Let me see.
You're never gonna learn if you just say I'm dumb.
I know. I'm working on it, Cody.
Sorry, I'm dumb. Like,
okay, so here's the general chat. Now it's gotten into.
Now the whole thing, everything's been derailed. I think that's the Discord. There we go. If you want to join our Discord, please click on that link. In the meantime, do you guys ever watch Portland Andy? Don't believe so, no. Honestly, in general, I've been watching less political stuff, especially in the recent. There's only one YouTube channel that I'm actually waiting for a new video from, very deeply.
Can I guess?
Yeah, you probably know.
The dude that goes to USSR?
Yeah, Bald and Bankrupt.
Bald and Bankrupt. Yeah.
That's definitely a channel I'm looking forward to watching more content from. He's been gone for like a month. I don't know where he is. But yeah, I don't know. I watch weird stuff on YouTube though.
Yeah, I hear you.
Mostly just wrestling and video games and movies.
Yeah. So, Chris F76, do I put him in? I just clicked on it. Do I put him in stream caller? No?
You can't.
Okay. Sorry, dude.
I'm just having fun at this point watching you.
Well, bro, okay, so it's on Discord, and I see like Chris F76.
Who are you talking to? I don't understand who you're talking
I'm
to.
in the general. I'm in the Problem Solver Politics chat, right?
Cool, got it.
Okay.
This is riveting.
So I'm going to say, who wants to talk on
I'll make
the
it easy.
show?
I'll make it easy for you. Just pick a name for me, and I'll do the rest.
Okay. So,
But yeah, and then I'll go through some of the other news of the day. Big one is not big news overall, but to me the big one is Booker taking over Amy McGrath. Amy McGrath took $40 million from Rubes through Act Blue links and various super PACs and blew it all apparently. I don't know what to do with the other 20. She spent $20 million on ads. I guess it helps Democrats, but damn, that sucks for that. It doesn't help Charles Booker that Amy McGrath spent $20 million in ads against him. I don't know where that money went, but there's another 20 plus million, I believe, unaccounted for. Don't know where that's going either, but that was one of the funnier stories that I saw recently. God, I mean, I don't really care about the politics who wins or lose. Just love to see it. Love to see someone raise a bunch of money and then just blow it like that.
okay, we'll talk to Inforno again.
Should be a 2-4-2 in what is it? Okay, Inforno, just join a voice chat and I can pull you into the stream call chat, but I can't do it otherwise, I guess. Still trying to figure out Discord more. So yeah, just join one, I'll drag in.
Yeah.
Debate or radio would be preferable. Anyway. The other news of the day, the big news of the day, is a phony baloney, not phony baloney, but a bill got passed to make, a bill got passed in the House to make Washington, D.C., I believe, the 51st state.
Get out.
It's a lot of stuff's obviously got to happen. I don't think they just go like, well, House passed it, they're a state. A lot's got to happen in the first place.
That seems so antithetical to the whole reason why the District of Columbia was made the District of Columbia, because they didn't want the White House and the major parts of government being subject to some, for example, executive order from a governor of a state saying, oh, we're going to lock down everything and then be able to shut down the United States of America because of some local.
Oh, hold on. No, it's cool, dude. Once I move you, you could stay in the stream call room. Oh. One second. Well, just keep talking.
Okay.
I will have somebody in 1 second.
Okay. So, the whole reason why from the very founding that Washington, D.C. wasn't a state was because you never wanted, for example, a mayor. Actually, I shouldn't say a mayor, but like a governor of an individual state to be able to be exerting influence indirectly on the entire nation by leveraging his authority over the president as a constituent of his state. So they specifically made a separate district. Does that make sense? Okay, so we got who do we got in the chat, Cody?
Inforno234. Here we go.
Yo, Inforno's back. What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Let's see. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Hello? There we go. Very good.
Oh, there we are. What's up? Well, that's crystal clear, man. That's awesome. So, Inforno, you're like the 17-year-old that's super overachieving by having political discussions in his youth that most college students don't have, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I wouldn't say overachiever, though.
Oh, okay. That's cool. So you got a question? You got a contribution? What up?
Oh, I was going to ask you about your feelings on DC becoming a 51st state. Can you describe your position on that? And I have one more question after that.
Okay. Generally, I think there was a reason why the Founding Fathers didn't. And it basically did have to do with what I just described to Cody. How they wanted the District of Columbia where the national...
But how many states were there then?
No, even back then...
There was less than 50. I don't know.
I know, but it doesn't matter the number of states. It was the functional position that the headquarters of the nation would be in. They didn't want to be a state. So that, for example... it wouldn't be subject to being on a side during the Civil War if the Mason-Dixon line were chosen to be, do you get what I'm saying? Like they wanted the headquarters to, it's just like, why isn't the Vatican actually part of Italy? Well, because they didn't want the Pope to be subject to Italian law.
Well, also because, I think the Catholic Church exuded a lot of influence when they made the, but no, I mean, I just think times have changed, correct?
But this is one of those value things that I don't believe has changed, because do we want all of a sudden the president to be subject as a constituent to an individual governor that is a lower ranking official? Do we really want that? No, we don't.
Oh, but I mean, like, they have a mayor.
Yeah, but he only has the powers, or she only has the powers that basically a localized mayor can have. So imagine if, for example, the local government of the state of Washington, D.C., it wouldn't even be called Washington, D.C., because that stands for District of Columbia. So let's just say we called it Washington 2. All right, so the state of Washington 2 didn't like the fact that Donald Trump was meeting with the president of Taiwan because he was pro-China, and the Chinese ambassador said, we don't want you to recognize Taiwan. So imagine if the governor of the new state of Washington said, there's a statewide travel ban on Taiwanese citizens. Does that mean all of a sudden that the president of the country cannot meet with the ambassador from Taiwan just because this clown that is the governor of this new state of Washington, D.C. said no? Those are the kind of games you would start seeing get played. And America doesn't need any more of that. There's a reason why the founding fathers in their wisdom years ago said we're not going to make it an individual state. It has been the District of Columbia outside of the jurisdictions of all these different states for a long time for a reason. What's your next question, Inforno?
Oh, he's actually not in the chat anymore.
Oh, dang it, he bailed?
Something happened. Yes.
Ah, crap. Internet connection must have gotten bad. Okay, let's go to the next one. You got another one? Boom.
Do you have another one?
Let me see here. We got Yareños. Let's choose Yareños. Let me see here. So let's try and bring them in.
All right. Anyways.
So I just got to click on them and then add to Streamcaller, right?
That'd be the one.
Boom shakalaka, just did it. Okay, Yareños, I think I just added to Streamcaller. Let's try it out. See if that works.
Let me look at something. Yeah. And cool. So just join. There is a room I am renaming in Discord called a waiting room. Just tell people to join the waiting room, and I'll pull you from the waiting room in a stream call. That's how it'll work.
Okay, cool.
Oh, you didn't get kicked off, dude. No, you just dropped out. Something happened. I don't know.
Weird.
Again,
okay.
It's live. Hey, no offense, not because I don't like talking to you people, but
Yeah.
having stuff set up live like this always is just problems.
Okay, so Inforno looks like he got toasted. Anybody else wants to jump in? Make sure. So do they got to jump into the general chat first?
There is I will type it in, Carden. Just talk about other things, please. I'm losing my mind.
Okay, sorry. Someday, Cody, you will know what it's like to look at a screen with so much going on that you don't know what's going on, but you want to learn, and you'll be stoked. I'm gonna go over some of these comments in the chat.
I got someone. You ready?
Hit it. Who is it?
Yareños, go.
Hey, Yareños, what's going on?
This is very strange. Okay. I was wondering how you think the best way to find information about
The best way to find information about what?
Local election candidates, because for national and regional, elections, you can find out people's policy positions a lot easier in an objective way, and I have a difficulty doing that for local elections.
Oh, you know what? I know what you're talking about. It used to be a lot easier, especially when local newspapers were more of a thing. And I definitely share your frustration, because you're limited to one of two things. You either have to go to their websites, you have to go to their social media profiles and listen to basically the propaganda they spew out that's all self-serving and basically advertising. Okay. Or else you have to be listening to what their opposition says about them on their social media and their websites, which is basically just propaganda and them advertising for themselves. So really what I found is the only way to truly understand is you got to get your butt out of your seat and go to some of the few events, some of the debates, or at least the televised. Oftentimes they're on public access. Most major municipalities still have some form of public access, some local radio station or some newspaper that does indeed actually sponsor an occasional, at least one debate per election cycle. Okay. And there's more of them out there than you realize. And once you find them, it's actually quite informative. And I have been amazed at how many congressmen I've been able to talk to just because I went to some debate that 50 people showed up to, and I waited until afterwards to talk to the person. And it's crazy because the next day you'll see them on MSNBC and Fox News or whatever, and they're the head of, the intelligence committee or something like that. But because only 50 or 75 people were willing to show up to a local debate during his re-election campaign or her re-election campaign, you actually had a chance to have a face-to-face with the person, and then they'll recognize you at the next events as one of your constituents that talk to them. Like, oh, hey, what's up, Carden? You know what I'm saying? It's wild what happens when you actually treat these people as humans and go out and meet them in a human way. That's at least how I have had to get over the bias of others.
If you are looking for a platform to do it on,
I can't hear you.
If you're looking for a platform to do it on, one of the better ones I use for this stuff is Ballotpedia. I'll show you. Yeah, so Ballotpedia. If you're talking about the issue of there being local people running for stuff, and because also you have to on the voter guides itself, right? They'll have little things in there. You have to pay money to be on there. It, generally speaking, just costs money. So yeah, for local elections, you will find sometimes that it's. I guess the best way is to just go in person, because a lot of times, like, yeah, man, they don't have internet games. They don't post stuff online. It can just be a big. But at the same time, maybe it's a closed-minded way of looking at it, but I always look, if I spend 5-10 minutes trying to figure out what you stand for and I can't figure it out,
you're
probably
a bad
not for
marketer.
Me. Yeah, you're probably not for me. It's probably just not the, like, if I can't go to a website or something and see what it is, it's probably like, okay, they need some more time they need to practice a little bit and try again later, I guess.
Yeah. Does that answer your question, kind of, sort of?
Mostly, yeah.
All right, cool, sweet.
Thank you.
All
Yeah,
right,
of course,
dude, no
thanks,
sweat,
man.
man. All right, let's get another one in here. Oh, shoot, I should have asked him before he went off. I'm such an idiot. How to pronounce it. Was it Yareños? I wasn't quite sure there. But, or it could be Chareños. Actually, no, even in Argentina, the Y it would still be a ya. You know what I'm saying? That would still be a ya.
Also, we had a super chat from DVIJ461. Said, what do you think of chop businesses suing the city? What do you think of that card?
110%. The
110%
setting,
what?
they are
Beef? I mean, what?
No, they are entitled to every dime they are demanding. They have a feckless mayor who allowed a bunch of lawless vigilantes to launch at best, political theater movement, at worst, a legitimate secessionist movement on the doorsteps of all of these legitimate businesses. And who knows how many poor immigrants' family welfare was dependent upon the local family business.
1 second. I don't want to too much, but it would help. Not everyone's in our brains. What are they talking about? I believe what he's talking about in the Chop/Chaz in Seattle, where they had set up the autonomous area. Local business owners, I believe they're suing the city, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I'll try to pull it up right here. I think what they're suing the city on is they're basically saying, when we opened our business, we had a reasonable
assumption of being able to be protected
from the government, and they pulled that protection from us. I'm just letting people know that's what the lawsuit is over, and it's by local. That's what it's about.
That's what I'm saying. So they deserve every dime of damages that they are declaring, because by paying for that business permit, by registering their business, by operating within every single municipal code underneath the Department of Consumer Affairs of their state, complying with all the police requirements, complying with all the public safety and health requirements, they were contributing to a system in which they had a reasonable assumption of protection from the state. And the state, in this case, meaning the city, because it was within city limits, and the law enforcement of that city and of that mayor completely abdicated their duty. They completely abdicated their duty. And they have, in law, you have to prove damages. How many businesses could not be visited or patronized by people who wanted to use their business and were forced in an already stressed coronavirus situation?
But wait 1 second, I have a question for you.
What?
I believe there was not super similar, but there was a lawsuit, I believe. I think it went all the way to the Supreme Court around a police officer not directly intervening to stop a crime to save somebody, to protect them. And I believe the Supreme Court decided, well, it's because it's not their obligation to. Why can't the courts, and if this does get kicked up to the Supreme Court, what if the Supreme Court comes back and says, yeah, you know what? No city is legally obligated to provide police protection to businesses.
No,
what if they say that? What if that gets kicked up to the Supreme Court?
No, it's not a police protection to the business. what
the
it
area,
is.
the shark, anything like there's no reason why.
If they said that, they literally say there's no reason for a police department altogether.
No, because they could say local jurisdictions could have the discretion at when and where police forces are concentrated, and they, at the discretion of the city, chose to concentrate police forces outside of this jurisdiction, which led to an increase in crime. But I don't believe they also are liable to respond. I don't think they have to respond to 911 because they want the one. They don't have to. And what if they rule that technically the government could just pull the police away from you? Because it seems to me, the reason why I bring it up, it seems to me in every other lawsuit along these lines, that's what they've erred on. They've erred on the side where you don't have any protections.
I'll tell you right now, that would be a horrible precedent to set, because that is a KKK dream situation where, hey, as long as the sheriff is on our side, we can burn down whatever, harass whomever, and destroy whatever, and as long as the sheriff doesn't care and he's in tune with us, then it's all good because he's not obligated
It's already how it
to
works.
protect the citizens from us.
It's already how it works.
In a soft way that's
No, look
not...
it up. There's a Supreme Court ruling. Police don't have to protect you or save you. All the police have to do is enforce the laws and directed to.
Or
that's their obligation. Literally,
you're citing
there
a
was
law
literally
that a lot
a
of
case.
Second Amendment
No, but there
people
was
cite.
literally a case because it was something. If I remember right, they were investigating like a stalking case, and while they were
Yes.
investigating him for stalking, they did not intervene and let someone get injured. It's because police have no obligation to. If they don't, now most of them become police officers to help people, so they will. But if they don't, there's no.
Okay,
Now
this happened in 2005. Look, on June 27, 2005, justices ruled that police do not have a constitutional duty to protect someone.
There we go.
Okay, so on June 27, this is in the New York Times, and they always tell the truth. As the
And what if,
paper
what
of
I'm saying is,
record.
but what if cities don't have a constitutional duty to protect
That could
structures
happen.
and businesses?
That could happen, but it would go completely antithetical to what everybody understands the police should be, and would cause such. I'll tell you right now, that would be the single number one gun sale in America. The number one gun sale in America would be if the widespread and widely televised existence of Chaz/Chop went completely unpunished, and all those business owners were told, sorry, the police don't actually have to defend you. That would send a massive message to every single shopkeeper in every municipality that had any kind of political protest over the past 2 months. Look, if the crap really hits the fan, we don't actually have to protect you. That right there would be a spark that could light an absolute
The police
fire.
already don't have to. That's already the rules. We saw it happen. They don't have to do anything. They literally can stand there and watch someone get murdered, and then if they want to, arrest the murderer. Like, constitutionally, they're not violating any constitutional rights. It's not their job.
Yeah. So here it is.
It's literally, the job of the police is literally to enforce the government's laws. That's it.
So listen to this. On June 27th in Washington, D.C., the Supreme Court ruled on Monday. I'm reading from the New York Times here. The Supreme Court ruled on Monday that the police do not have a constitutional duty to protect a person from harm, even a woman who had obtained a court-issued protective order against a violent husband, making an arrest mandatory for a violation. I can't think of a more vulnerable person than somebody who has a violent man
Exactly.
going after them.
Look at that.
And then, yeah.
I pulled up a screen. Yeah, isn't
You
that
pulled
crazy?
it up. Okay. So the decision, with an opinion by Justice Antonin Scalia and dissents from Justices John Paul Stevens and Ruth Bader Ginsburg, overturned a ruling by a federal appeals court in Colorado. The appeals court had permitted a lawsuit to proceed against a Colorado town, Castle Rock, for the failure of the police to respond to a woman's pleas for help after her estranged husband violated a protective order by kidnapping their 3 young daughters, whom he eventually killed.
Yeah, police don't got to do nothing about that.
Holy crap! That is an
The
absolute
police can
miscarriage of
literally
justice.
say, sounds like a you problem, and then just do nothing, and they're not constitutionally violating anything. Now, they could be held liable, I believe, in other things, but they're not violating your constitutional rights, but just saying, sounds like a you problem, and walking away.
Wow, I can't believe that. So the police, when a woman's crying for help because her estranged husband is about to kill her and her kids, does not have any reasonable expectation of help from the police. That is an absolute. There is a special place in hell for whoever said yes to that. There's an absolute special
Well, but
place
it
in
would be
hell.
Justice Antonin Scalia.
Okay, well, okay.
Which, unfortunately, I believe, unfortunately,
Well, actually, no, we don't know if he was on which side of this. It says
the decision with an opinion by and dissents from. Yeah, of course it was on his, yeah.
That's crazy.
If
There must have
if
been
I
some.
remember correctly,
I want to read this
he
opinion.
would be in a special place in hell already, right?
Yeah, that's true. But I don't know. Unless this is some kind of hyper technicality and there's another court decision that already covers what would be covered by this lawsuit, and they're simply just trying to parse those words, I will give them benefit of the doubt, because if this is the only facet of this argument we're looking at, there is a special place in hell for all of those people. If it's a multifaceted argument and they're saying, okay, cool, well, in this aspect it's not a constitutional duty because they are covered by that aspect over there, then fine, whatever, let the lawyers parse their words. But yeah, I don't know if that's if that's not good, there's a special place in hell for those people.
How about this? Here's a quote from your boy Scalia.
What did he say?
He says, oh my God, sorry, I just had it. Although the protective order did mandate an arrest or an arrest warrant, in so many words, Justice Scalia said, a well-established tradition of police discretion has long coexisted with apparently mandatory arrest statutes.
Oh, I see what he's saying. So he's saying it's up to the
can,
discretion of, if you call for help. Yeah, well, like, for example,
it's up to their discretion,
if you're drunk,
they don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
I guess that you can rationalize it, but like you said, there's probably a special place. But not even that. It's just that's the way it works. I do wonder if it's not unreasonable for the courts to come back and just say, like, nowhere did it say we would. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe in Seattle you do have to sign something for your business license, but I'm pretty sure they don't. I'm pretty sure you never sign a document saying part of this lease includes police protection. It's assumed, because if it doesn't, you won't open a business in the city, which, by the way, I think businesses are living in Seattle and New York. But there's no constitutional right to it. It's just good business. It's good business to protect businesses so they don't leave. It makes sense for cities to do that. Because, yeah, they'll just leave, and then you don't have tax revenue. It's bad for you. You want them to stay. Yeah. So to entice them to stay, a lot of times you'll protect them with the police. But I don't believe they have to. I think they could just say, cookies. Okay, we decided not to have police there.
What Antonin Scalia is saying is that just because there's a complaint doesn't mean that the police have to go out and enforce it, because it's up to their discretion what they will enforce. Because, for example, if 100 complaints come in, if you know for a fact this guy's drunk and he calls in every Friday.
One complaint comes in from a woman saying her husband, she has a restraining order against kidnapped her children. And it was the discretion of the police to say, sounds like a you problem. We'll get to it when we can.
Yeah, I was going to say that the special place in hell isn't necessarily for the Supreme Court on this one. The special place in hell is for the police department that didn't come out and help that person, because of all the tasks you have and the innocence you must protect. I think the single mother with children, with a rabid estranged husband who's threatening to kill you and has kidnapped your children. Yeah. I think I can't really think of too many people higher on that. Like, even if you only have one deputy in your sheriff's department, the woman that calls up and says, my ex-husband with the restraining order, who's violent and has already kidnapped my children, is trying to kill me, I think she gets top priority. Okay. So yeah, this police department can rot in hell
at their discretion. But one thing I think is funny is a lot of people have this like weird perspective that disliking the police is a position unique to any right or left. Let me tell you something. People on the far right hate the damn police.
Think so? What is
I'm not talking about
what far right?
Like the legit far right. I'm not talking about like the
militias.
I'm not talking about
the militias in Coeur d'Alene,
the Blue Lives Matters. We love our. None with the Toby Keith style people. Like the legit far right hate the police. You know what they talk about? They talk about Waco, Texas, and Ruby Ridge. They say, if you try to step out of line of this government that will try to oppress you, they will come and murder you and your family. Ruby Ridge is a crazy story. I mean, they killed the guy's dog and his kids. I mean, like, they will come and put you down. But it's because a lot of people, I don't know what it is, but I feel like I hear everybody saying the exact same thing. Like, but then they'll frame it as a right or left issue. It's like, but people talk about the same thing, slightly different words. They frame it a little bit different, but they're talking about the same things all the time. And yeah, there's people that hate like this idea of, I mean, for example, if I remember correctly, the Oklahoma City bombings were in response to, wasn't it Waco?
Oh, geez.
I believe it was either Waco or there was some overstep of the U.S. government in policing. Now, here's the thing. People on the left, so to speak, might be more focused on like metropolitan police and focused on federal policing. You could draw that distinction. That exists for sure, right? Like, exactly. There's different perspectives and angles, but the idea of every culture has the stories they tell of the police that will come and kill you. They change from to area. They change from where and how.
Yeah.
But I mean, like the story of Waco, Texas, insane, man. Insane. The government would do it to their own people. Even though you say, well, they're bad people. They probably were, but like, damn, dude, if you cross the government, the shit they'll do. They will lock you inside your compound and play the sounds of dying rabbits to drive you crazy and burn the bitch down. Like, you know what? That's why I always think people talk about like anyone talking about a revolution about the U.S. government. That's why I say, dude, when you cross... There's multiple parts of the U.S., of the United States, right? Part of the U.S. is the Great Satan. You cross that part, you get bitch slapped. They do not play around, man. They will murder your family in front of you and then haul you to court and kill you. I mean, the government doesn't play around with people when they're not playing around. It's one of the reasons why I'm not freaking out watching some of the stuff happening in the streets, because I'm like, dude, I've read about what the U.S. government does when they decide to take the gloves off, and it's not nice. It's not pretty. It's crazy stuff. It is insane stuff. And that's why I don't think it'll be... Back to the title of the video, our original topic, right? A civil war.
Okay.
Dude, people step out... If people legitimately stepped out of line... It's one of the reasons why I look what's going on with like the Black Lives Matter, or just the various protests and the various riots and looting. I'm like, dude, the government said that shit ain't happening. Trust me, it ain't happening. Like, they will shut it down quickly. But it's being allowed to continue. Why? Again, think of it... Don't think of it... Actually, think of it any way you want. The way I think of it is what I meant to say, is they're allowing this to happen for some reason. They're allowing it. It's not happening in spite of the government. It's not happening in the face of the government. It's not happening against the government's wishes. It's being allowed by people in the government. Not every single person. Maybe Trump disagrees, but like the government, whoever the government official that can make it stop, has decided they don't want to, and they're letting it happen. Like, wait to see what happens when they want to make it stop. Wait till you see what happens then. When they want to make it stop, it'll be crazy. They will make it stop any way they have to.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like tanks running people over in Tiananmen Square. I'm talking about like 3 weeks later, people getting black bagged and pulled in on federal 40-year sentences and being like, what? I wasn't even there. Yep, it proves you were there. It was 3 weeks ago, but we got you. That's how they do it. There's no big scene. There's no big tank running over anybody footage. A couple weeks later, no knock warrant.
Yeah.
They will stop you if they want. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's like, dude, again, to quote one of my favorite TV shows, right? It's like, if you come at the king, you best not miss, all right? And like, I mean, if America is as awful as people say it is, you better be careful what you're messing around with here, all right? You're playing with fire thinking that you could just poke the bear and nothing will go wrong. But the government's done nothing so far. So that's why, to me, it's still nothing...
No big deal.
If there is any kind of revolution or uprising or whatever, currently one side's taking the battlefield. We haven't actually seen what's going to happen.
Okay, interesting. So, V-Tran says, it's almost time, guys. Got to pick up Brittany. Hey, V-Tran. V-Tran, you're
Top
obviously a family person.
Top of his game.
Wait, is that a dude or a chick? Have we talked to V-Tran?
Just roll with it. Just roll with it. Just pick one and roll with it.
Sorry.
Let me correct you if need be. But if not, just pick one and roll with it.
Hard close at 7 p.m. says V-Tran. V-Tran is a good person. A good person that knows what it's like. Understands the responsibility. And then let me see here. There was one other comment here that was interesting. Oh yeah, it says, I see California and Washington being the first states to lean more on foreign aid. Says Stephen Yeats. And Soundheard says, Cody is definitely right. Unchecked power corrupts. It doesn't matter if you're left or right. A lot of people agree with you, and a lot of people like your shirt in the chat, Cody.
Hey, like I said,
It's
I was
still getting. Look at that.
Tell
thing.
you what, we'll tell a little story about how I got the shirt. I went to H&M for the first time in months. And H&M, one thing I love about H&M, they'll have stuff on sale. As I was walking out, it had a big red tag on it. It said like $5 or $6. And I was like, you know what? Took a gamble on a shirt for $5. Apparently, it's a big hit. So thank you guys. But to your earlier point, though, in all seriousness, yeah, I feel, I don't know. I just, the more I look at it, the more I feel like the game for the people in power is to convince you it's Republicans versus Democrats. And maybe it kind of is also a little bit. It's a little bit of both, right? It's a little bit of the game, a little bit of what's actually going on. But if you look at these people, man, like they're not talking about, they'll just say what they have to say to make you do what they want you to do. Like, if you get tied up in what they're saying, it'll drive you mad. It's like, but they keep contradicting each other and lying, and they're talking about things that aren't real. No shit, dude. They're just saying whatever they think they have to say. It's not based on what they think is right. It's funny, like, I think, like the idea that these people are reading journals about, like, oh, what's the best prescribed policy? What tax code? Well, they don't care, man. They'll just go out there and say whatever. They'll go out there and say, how about Montreal, huh? Or that's a bad example in America. They'll come out and say, hey, how about them Packers, Wisconsin? Woo! When you look at when politicians come out and say stuff as, hello, Milwaukee, how about them Packers? It makes a lot more sense. It's all they're saying. They don't care about Milwaukee or the Packers. They're just there right now. So they want the crowd to cheer, and they'll cheer if they say it. And then as soon as they leave, they forget where they even were. Joe Biden forgets where he is sometimes when he's there. But yeah, they don't really care that much. They're just there to say what they have to say.
So Mike Jones says, how does it feel to watch your evil history and statues be erased before your eyes? I don't know if they're getting erased as much as empowered. I don't know if this is necessarily yielding the fumigation that people were talking about. Elaborate on what you meant, Mike Jones. And,
too late, it's already 7. But
yeah, Trev Third says,
history?
he looks yoked. So
I'm
yes,
not a Confederate. I don't live in the southeast of America. It's not my history.
I was not born in 1821, fighting the good fight of 1840.
I don't really give a shit about the Confederates that much. I just feel like I said, I wouldn't be dumbfounded. I would bet against it. I wouldn't be dumbfounded if people put up more Confederate statues as a reaction to them being torn down. For nothing to do with the Confederacy, just to spite people for taking them down in the first place, to make that a petty game they'll argue over. Okay, if you want to argue over petty stuff like statues, they'll come down, they go up. Like I said, ask the people who try to get rid of statues of literally anything how it went. Sometimes they stay away, but I'm pretty sure, like, for example, I guess the Saddam statues stayed away. Right? I don't think did the Saddam statues come back?
Yeah.
Tell you what, if Saddam statues come back, though, be careful. That's when you got to look around. But I wonder, for example, there's a statue in Eastern Europe of a transformer. We're going to pull that bitch down? I mean, like, well, they're going to bring it back up? People make statues to all kinds of things. Like I said, as someone living in California, I don't give a shit about a statue of some guy who fought for the rights of Louisiana. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. So we're shutting this down, Cody. The hour has come. The time is nigh. Thank you very much for hanging out with us, guys. Before you leave, please make sure that you hit the like button. It totally helps us out. If you want to contribute to the channel, there's always a PayPal link in the description, or you can super chat us in the next live stream on Monday. We're also going to be coming up with some cool members-only content here sometime soon, and keep a lookout for the posts where people can suggest conversation topics for that night's live stream. We love what we do. We love hearing from you guys. We love the interaction, so thanks a lot for being with us today. This is Problem Solver Politics. We will see you guys in the next live stream. Whoa.